Hello, friends, family, and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to another Best of 5. Today we'll be having a look at the Best of 5 played between ByuN here in the bottom left, spawning as the red Terran, and in the top right, spawning as the blue Zerg. It's going to be Dong Rei Gu, playing for Team NV, of course. One of the stronger teams that has recently come up. And actually ByuN playing for the other strong team that has recently come up, and it's going to be Shopify Rebellion. Currently I still believe they only have 3 players, Scarlet, Lambo, and ByuN, of course. The team is headed by TLO, the old Liquid Zerg. Was at Team Liquid for 10 years, but then he saw the big money from Shopify and he was straight out of there. What a sellout, unbelievable. Nah, I love Dario. Just messing with you. Alright, let's have a look at this game though. What's happening over here? Hatchery first coming out of DRG. We see a barracks into a refinery. And that's all very standard as well. So I'm not sure like why I pretended that it wasn't going to be standard. ByuN is one of these players that has been mixing in a lot of marine openers. Reactor first, or just marine into reactor type of opener, marine into factory reactor, I should say. And I'm curious to see if that's going to be the case here, or if we're going to see a more standard Reaper start. Oh, started with a Reaper, cancelled it into a marine, and it indeed is going to be a marine opener. Now, there's a couple of follow-ups here. We've seen 7 marine drops into a triple car run by. We've seen 6 marines with a mine. We've seen a couple of marines into Hellions afterwards, while still producing marines continuously as well, and going for some very quick Hellbat timings. So there's a lot of options that ByuN has, and ByuN is actually really good with those. Now, it seems to be a quick factory here, factory before the reactor. So this is a little bit of a, I'd say a TVP build order almost. This is something that people would play in Terran versus Protoss. Now, DRG is going to be made aware of this by the fact that he sees the reactor timing, and will also see the factory timing, and he says something that I don't understand, but I think this is the laughing emoji, so they're probably laughing at each other. They also had a bit of chatter in the early game. I really should get like a translator all the time, just to be sure, you know, whenever I have 2 Koreans play, just in case they start talking. I can also be in on the joke. I really do feel like an outsider at these times. We have a second gas also done here. This is the second gas, by the way. This was the first. And that means we're going to be seeing some dedicated 2-base pressure. And could still be an armory. Could also not be an armory and just for the medevac. But then, would you really need this much gas? I don't think you actually do. Most Hellion builds, because you're not spending any gas in the factory itself, like you would with a Widow Mine, where it's 25 gas per Widow Mine. You see, right now there has been about 135 gas mined, and there's about 140 gas left over. So this gas hasn't really done anything at this point for ByuN. And that's always, whenever you're looking at your own build orders, is something you can always keep in mind. You know, it's like, hey, was this gas necessary yet? Have I used it yet? Like, or if you're building a gateway, it's like, have I built this gateway at a timing where it makes sense? Like, I'm not using it currently. Like, what purpose is it fulfilling for me currently? If the answer is none, then perhaps you shouldn't have built it yet. But this gas probably is necessary for the follow-up, which seems to be Banshee. Yep, Banshee and Cloak immediately, and here the gas definitely was necessary. 240 gas mines so far and only 100 left remaining. Perhaps could have been taken a little bit later, but I know that he also wants to start stim quickly, most likely, or a tank. So I'm going into a tank push here with Banshees maybe. But this is something that I haven't seen in a long time. This almost feels like a Wings of Liberty build here out of ByuN. And now he does like his creative build orders in this matchup, but I don't think I'm aware of this one. We could be seeing like a push from here maybe. You know, like marine tank from the low ground. Then the medevacs, or the medevac with the marines on the high ground, and the tank giving coverage. Something along those lines could be powerful. No, we're not going to see a tank. So just use the factory to build a tech lab. And we'll be heading into a, well, it seems to be so far a 2 Rex follow-up. Could still add a 3rd Rex at some point as well. You already have the reactor being built here, so that definitely is going to be the case. ByuN using this medevac just to clear any potential overlords, not really looking to do any major damage, just making sure that the vision for DRG is limited. The vision is very limited indeed. This Banshee is going to get spotted though before it cloaks, and there's a spore in position already. There's a spore in the main, there's a spore in the natural. I think DRG is in a fantastic spot here. 60 workers for the Korean Zerg player, who already did his military service, by the way. Came back from military service, I believe 2 years ago maybe. Early 2020, something like that. Sounds about right. So he's been back for almost 2 years at this point, 1 year and 7-8 months, and it's been showing that he can definitely fight with the best. He's not a top contender yet, but he still seems to be growing in skill bit by bit. Very slowly but surely he's climbing up there again on that ladder. Let's have a look at that first person out of DRG here actually, because that's interesting. So we see these two cloaked Banshees have cloaked up. DRG obviously is not aware of that. Now sees a move forward and is flying around with the Overseer, trying to find these Banshees. Didn't find them. Now sees them, immediately pulls the drones, loses 4 though. I think DRG is in a good spot here. I actually do think he's in a good spot. Oh, ByuN, F2, F2. Oh, yeah. Question mark out of DRG. And I think this is the laughing emoji. DRG, the tiny bit of BM. It's not BM. These guys are obviously friends. The amount that they speak. I say they're obviously friends, but maybe they've been flaming each other in Korean, and I'm just sitting here laughing at it. It's like, look at how good friends they are. Meanwhile, they're insulting each other's families. I'm like, look, it's just banter, guys. Trust me. Nah, I do think they're friends. The way that they speak. The laughing emoji. The way that was used, I feel like they're definitely friendly with one another. Barrels being researched here for DRG, which could indicate that he wants to put some units 6 feet deep. And the way he wants to do that is by burrowing a couple of banelings. It's not going to be his units that will be burrowed 6 feet deep. Banelings are actually just below the surface, and they can feel the pressure of the Marines stamping over them, and then they can explode. Actually a true story. That is how the lore works. Still no combat shield, by the way, here. He's been on the DRG camp for the past 2.5 minutes. Well, this medevac might actually go down. No. Survives 6 HP. All was planned. ByuN can look into the future, and he knew that medevac would survive. If you can look into the future, but you can't change it, it's kind of a useless skill, no? You could see the lottery numbers, but you wouldn't be able to attain those lottery numbers because you can't change the future. Extremely lame. 1-1 infantry weapons, infantry weapons and infantry armor on the way. Ooh, ByuN's getting caught out of position. Big time, oh my god. I think if this was micro slightly better out of DRG, every single Marine would have died. There's a single tanker. I think this... Is this game? Did ByuN just lose the game? Like a moment of inattention. Is that actually what happened here? 23 workers went down there. The unit lost overall is equal, which is usually bad for Terran, and Zerg always is mining more. 73 workers is relatively low. APM is relatively high, as we have an average APM of 500. Huh. Queen gets sniped. We have these two medevacs being sent out as well. We'll head over towards this creek perhaps, and we'll start scanning for it. Is of course a real possibility. So, well, these two medevacs aren't dropping quite yet. One of them is. ByuN seems to actually be kind of getting back into it supply-wise. He's still way down in the worker count though. Up 25, 26. We'll need to pick up here. Loses 1 Marine. Clears a couple of creep tumors. The real problem for ByuN here, of course, is that there's no fort command center yet. He is on 5 barracks production, so it's not like he's all-inning here. This is not like an 8 Rex, and he wants to be hitting with a crap ton of units, and 2-2 and like 6-7 tanks. Obviously, he still wants to hit with a crap ton of units, but he doesn't really have the production for that. Also doesn't really have a fast 4CC. I mean, we're 10 minutes into the game and the 4CC just started. All of that is, of course, well, at least partly due to the fact that he lost a crap ton of SCVs to a Bailing Ling attack earlier in the game. Now, Dongregu is on 92 workers, and I think the moment that DRG hits the hive, gets those Vipers out, there's not really a timing anymore here for ByuN. Even at this point, 2-2 is already done for DRG. He is way up. The Bailing count is at 22, 10 more on the way. That is a very healthy Bailing count. +2 vehicle weapons is also on the way. And of course there's going to be a big army, but it's not like there's no creep spread. Like, there's still plenty of creep spread, which means that ByuN can just siege up at the 4th base or the 5th base or at the 6th base. Or ByuN needs the first clear creep. And by the time ByuN makes it to the other side of the map, there's going to actually be more than 100 Banelings. As we have 36 more on the way, there's 32 done already. We're literally going to have like 68-ish Banelings. 68 Banelings to be exact even. Was afraid my math was off, so I pretended like it wasn't going to be exact. Ooh, this is an interesting engagement though. Off creep into a completely sieged position, but the Baneling count is so insanely big that it's not even going to matter. Banelings connecting with all of these SCVs. The Lings are, well, not doing much, but dying. And DRG says, well, 28 new workers have gone down. I'm just going to go home. I'm going to rebuild my Banelings. Perhaps that wasn't the most cost-efficient trade, but it was a trade that I could take because I'm doubling your income currently. And ByuN isn't doubling the unit lost here, no, or halving the unit lost. Which means that technically it's still fine trades as long as DRG can keep the momentum up. And I definitely believe he can, as 15 Banelings have finished already, 8 more on the way. Do we have Adrenal already? No Adrenal, we do see +3 and we see +1 range as well. Lurker then is also being built, so the transition is about to be ready. Here comes the next attack. I'm not quite sure if ByuN will have enough to hold this off completely. Seems like the micro is good though. Micro is very solid here out of ByuN, and actually, he's only going to lose 4 workers. This was not a good trade. 2k down there in the resources lost. ByuN is setting up that 4th base. Oh, it's an orbital. Good lord. Oh, no, orbital's obviously not gonna help. 2 mules, 3 mules. If this gets taken out by a Ling run by, that's painful. That's a lot of income you're gonna be losing. A couple of Lings will be left behind. No, DRG too afraid, and thus the mules get saved. That's kind of a big deal. Hydras are being built now. Queens are not really joining the fray. There's actually not that many units right now for DRG. Currently only 8 Banelings, 66 Lings. It's not like he's going to die, but he can just move in at this point. I think he's most likely going to wait for a couple of lurkers. You know what? I don't even mind that too much. But will he go with just Seismic Spines, or will he also wait for the Adaptive Talents? If he waits for the Adaptive Talents, perhaps ByuN will be back up to what, 170-ish supply? What's actually the time that this takes? 57k, a whole minute. Yeah, it's gonna be like an added 20-30 supply there for ByuN. I still believe that DRG is going to be fine, don't get me wrong, but he's maxed right now and Seismic Spines is on, and it's not like this siege position is difficult to run into. I actually think he should just go pre-Adaptive Talents. He should just start going the moment he can. I don't think there's any real use to waiting here. There's no use for waiting. Why would you wait? Just go, my friend. Adaptive Talents are still 30 seconds away. ByuN, yeah. ByuN's getting closer to a decent supply again. Now, I still don't believe that ByuN is going to be able to hold this swimmingly, but he might be able to pull off another miracle hold like before. I mean, his control is good. He does have worse upgrades as well. +3 melee attacks also finishing up right now. Adrenals on the way. Adaptive Talents about to... Yeah, okay, yeah. This is just way too much DRG and way too little ByuN here. As ByuN also is caught slightly out of position without a sensor tower. And Lurker on top of the ramp. Is there any Vipers here? Not yet, but one is on the way. This base gets denied. 20 workers go down. GG gets called and DRG wins game number 1. Game number 2 here is going to be played on 2000 atmospheres between Dongregu and ByuN. As we see ByuN not opening up with any cheeky proxy rexes. He has been playing a proxy rex every now and again lately. I've been watching ByuN. I know what you've been up. Ooh. First. Okay. A little bit different than we see from a lot of the Korean Zergs. I know Rogue is fond of his pool first, but I don't think too many other Zergs are too fond of their pool first. What are we thinking here with pool first? 4 links? 6 links? We'll have to wait and see. 1 drone is being built. If this drone gets built, it's only going to be 2 links, I think. It's not going to be built. It's going to be at least... it might even be 6. Not quite sure when the next larva pops. 1, 2, 3, 6 links. Okay. Now, this isn't too weird, because ByuN obviously is a huge fan of opening up with Marine first. And second, he's a huge fan of opening up without a scout. And once again, just like in game number 1, what do we see? Complete lack of a scout. I know that the Z means ha. And if they type this, it is ha 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 ha. The rest I am completely unaware of. It's the same opener though. And I think DRG is aware of this and just straight walks through the middle. He's not even hiding them. Against another player, perhaps you would be going around trying to dodge the Reaper. But here DRG says, you know what? If he has a Reaper, that's life. If he has a Marine, then that's life. And that's good for me. The good type of life. I wonder what he's going to be going. He tries to go in? No way. Yeah, this... That's a big move. If that would have worked, that would have been the saddest day in ByuN's life. But as it is, it's still not going to be the greatest day of his life. Decides to pull 5-6 SCVs against these links. Might actually end up losing the Marine though. Ooh, good control once again. Out of the Korean Terran, will end up losing that Marine. And now a couple of workers will go down. I say a couple, but this is 2 couples actually going down. They had a double date. A triple date actually, and only 2 people return. Do look like they're a couple, as they're both the exact same health. No, one has 35, the other one has 30. Still talking some friendly banter between each other, obviously. As I mentioned before, these guys are great friends. You smell that type of stuff, you know? No, inject. Do we have any creep yet? Single creep tumor. Overlord's going to survive. Meanwhile, ByuN still... Oh, what is that? Was out of position? No! You monster! I have never seen this in my life. This is the first time in my life I've seen someone use an orbital command to float over to kill an overlord. It makes sense because he was not oversaturated in the main yet. But this is adios, brilliant. That was a great move. You know what? I have never seen that before. That is completely unique. Actually completely unique. The follow-up is not going to be completely unique, as it's Hellion Banshee off of 2 base. That is something that I am familiar with, but that floating move with the command center, I'm gonna write that in my diary tonight before I go to bed. Dear diary, today I saw something that I have never seen before. As the orbital command lifted off, not to fly to an island base or to populate a 3rd expansion, but instead to kill an overlord that was floating on top of a underwater dome populated by purple fish. Fishes? I feel like the plural of fish is also fish, just like it is with sheep. The first time I heard that, I thought it was the most hilarious thing ever. That you can say 1 sheep, 2 sheep. It's correct. I always thought it was sheeps, but that was incorrect. The English language is a funny one. Alright, 5 Marines. No, I can't count. 6 Marines, 5 Hellions, and a Banshee walk into a bar. The bar is populated by 5 Queens, and the Hellions turn into Hellbats. How does this joke end? I don't know, but the Queens so far seem to be the butt of the joke. And the Hellbats have one hell of a punch in them. A bunch of these drones are going down already, and after the rather poor start for ByuN, it seems like he's actually doing a decent amount of damage. Well, I say that, but not a lot of damage has been dealt with. Some indirect damage, drones being pulled off the line, and now a 2nd queen falling as well. This 3rd queen will also go down. A little bit of miscontrol here. DRG needs to make sure that none of these drones go down, and One Banshee falls. A lot of resources lost. I'll have to admit. A lot of resources lost, but I still think this is not the end of the world here for DRG. If he loses 2 more queens, if he loses 3 more queens, this still isn't the end. Well, if he loses 4 more queens, that might actually be the end of the world. At least the world as we know it. 2 queens remain. And where did these guys come? What? Were they just standing over here, just waiting till they get called in? I didn't see where this come from. These were different guys. None of them have any kills. They were just chilling. Look, he used them earlier. This is doing way more damage than I think it should have. And then I think beyond expected as well. 4 barracks are being built here at the same time. Do we have E-base? Yep, we do. They are working hard. And this Banshee is being microed back. You could say, well, it's not a big deal that that Banshee survives, but might be useful later on against run-bys, you know? Might be able to pick up a 1 or 2 Banelings, or 3 or 4 Lings, or it could die once the first Mutas come out. There's many options here, many futures for this Banshee, and it will all depend on what ByuN decides to do with it. First of all, will he repair it? Or will he say, I don't want to waste any more money on you. You're a dead flying vehicle. No. ByuN takes care. Oh my god, look at the love it's getting. 3 SCVs, a 4th one is joining as well in the circle of love. We still want to repair you. Look at that. That is lovely. 140 HP, the Banshee is full health, gets sent out again to start denying some creep, maybe scout for a 4th base. Don't forget that the Spire is done, so if this Banshee ever does make it across the map, I think it will die quickly. And that is fine, because at least it got loved when it was at home. It lived a good life, you know, lived a good and fulfilling life, and that's important sometimes as well. 12 Mutalisks on the way. That is more Mutalisks than I have fingers on my 2 hands combined. So that's always quite impressive. This is always kind of how I think of whether something is a big number or a small number. And if it is higher than the amount of... the number is higher than the amount of fingers I have on my hand, I always think, oh, that's a lot, you know? 9 Phoenixes, you could deal with that. 11, all of a sudden, you know, it's, first of all, it's double digits. It's already difficult. Then it's more fingers. It's also big. It's the same with Mutalisk. I do believe that he just lost... did he lose 3 Mutas? Just now. That's impressive. 600 resources just down the drain. Boom. Just like that. It's crazy. Banshee's allowed to stay at home and will have a long and prosperous life defending his SCV brothers, guarded by a turret. This is the type of relationship you want, you know? The turret defends the Banshee and the Banshee defends the turret. As the turret can only shoot up, but it's ground, and the Banshee is air, but can only shoot down. It's a cute kind of synergy there. So ByuN is just camping this watchtower. It's 2020 vision, but I'm not quite sure if he has enough units here to hold this. 4th CC on the way as well. I thought I saw a second. Yep. Second factory is out. We can see some 4 production here, by the way. There's a real possibility. I can't believe that he's moving forward with this. This is so ballsy. He knows there's Mutas on the map, and he doesn't really have that many Marines. So, yeah. This could die, is what I'm trying to say. And we see kind of a regrouping here out of DRG. He was trying to rotate into the main base or into the natural with those Mutas earlier. Now we have a secondary army moving towards the left side as well. Feels like ByuN really is controlling the pace of this game by just grabbing these watchtowers. It's always insane to me how important these watchtowers are. DRG just poked in with his Mutas, so hey, it's empty. And now I can occupy it. There's a single Ling here at the potential fort. And we have a big Ling run by. This is no small Ling run by. These aren't peanuts, you know. These are big boys. Big number. And we'll keep a significant portion of ByuN's army at home. And this is the beauty of Zerg with Ling Muta Bane, is that you can force your opponent to have lots of units at home, because what if I get run by it? And then at the same time, you can kind of pull back this army if you think you can't run by. And actually, here, DRG believes that he can run by. I believe DRG can probably also run by. He's going to be going for it. That mine doesn't hit much of anything. This run by is going absolutely fantastic. And ByuN might actually be in a little bit of trouble here. Is there enough banelings at home to defend? 19 banelings are done. 15 larvae are ready as well. This is marvelous here for DRG, who's playing an absolutely splendid game here. All these SCVs will die in the main. All of these SCVs in the natural will die. DRG says, hey, wait a second. I'm killing 2 bases worth of SCVs. A single ling is destroying your 4th as well. Maybe my mutas can help him out later on. I can just give up this 4th base. That's fine. I'll take it over here. I'll long distance mine a little bit. I'll still be out mining you by a crap ton. Here come the mutalisk in combination with that single ling that actually did a fair amount of damage and will now walk into his death. Actually took a crap ton of damage on this command center. It needs to get repaired now. Problem is there's just not that many SCVs left. 41 SCVs, and once again DRG seems to be in fantastic shape as the banelings are rolling in. I think this tank is going to get sniped. I think this game might actually just be over at this point. DRG can just move across the map, and it was a very good early game for him, but then the Hellbait push wasn't defended well. In the end, it seems like DRG still had a good enough lead where he could just leverage it straight into a victory and into a 2-0 lead. And potentially game number 3 is going to be the final game of this best of 5. Game number 3 going to be played here on Blackburn. As we see DRG opening up with a hatch first this time around. So going back to what he was doing in game number 1 as well with that early hatchery rather than those 6 lings. I'm curious to see if ByuN is going to switch it up though. Let's have a look at that first person. Oh, this makes me dizzy. It's too fast. I'm a Protoss player, my friend. I do everything a little bit slower, alright? Just calm down. Calm down, buddy. Okay, show off. These guys are pretty fast, I have to admit. They are pretty darn fast. I wonder why this barracks is rallied into the minerals. The Marines for moral support. Is it going to... Ooh, it's a Reaper. Is a Reaper. Is a Reaper. No scout. Once again. I wonder what he does with the Reaper if he doesn't scout. Parting versus Dream. Who win? Oh no, are you going to spoil a series that I might want to cast in the future? Good lord, why would you do that? Well, that's the end of that then. Thanks for nothing. Complete. Unbelievable. Well, at least they can't spoil this game because it hasn't been played yet. DRG, let's get the scout off here. I'm surprised he doesn't scout. Oh, he's looking for the links, look at that. Batman. Actually, I wonder where he's gonna go. Is he gonna go to the 3rd base? Nah, goes to the natural, right? That would be a relatively high test play, I have to admit. Oh. Good mine hit. Or grenade hit, I should say, excuse me. What type of grenade is it actually? It's just a grenade you throw on the floor? I think so, right? You know, I never knew what RPG stood for. I just knew that it was like it shot rockets, but it means rocket-propelled grenade. I learned that the other day. Well, I think 2 weeks ago or so. And when I heard it, I thought, oh, that makes so much sense. It made me extremely happy. Yeah. Just wanted to share that. If any of you weren't aware of that like me, you don't want to make a fool of you next time you're talking about weaponry with your friends, which I bet happens all the time, if you would have friends. Of course, I'm not too aware of that. You could say, well, RPG actually stands for rocket-propelled grenade. They're like, wow, very impressive knowledge. How do you know that? And then you tell them, well, just subscribe, youtube.com/HarstemCasts, and you too can get that type of knowledge bombs on a daily basis. On a daily basis. Every day. New videos. Unbelievable. Alright, sorry. 3rd base. In the main base, we had 2 gases. Ooh, this is late 2nd gas. This was a triple CC. I haven't been paying attention. I was talking about my rocket-propelled grenades. We do have a Viking out now. 2 Hellions. Orbital command. In the main base. Well, hello. Can we make this into an orbital? It's actually going to produce SCVs from here. That's a mistake. There's no excuse for that. Also, ByuN is right now blissfully unaware of the fact that there's going to be 6 roaches. Otherwise he'd be throwing down bunkers and preparing his men for battle. Right now he's pretending like everything is good in the world. Starts orbital command. Put more resources into research, like STEM. Reactors are being built, extra barracks. I think ByuN is in a little bit of trouble here. And when I say a little bit of trouble, I think ByuN is extremely dead at this point. He is... Oh my god, he misses it with the Viking as well. This is game. This is it. The series has ended right at this moment. A massive supply block, by the way, and now massive oversupply for DRG. That might actually semi-save. This is it. There's currently 4 Marines at home, and there's going to be 6 roaches. There's 22 links in production as well. As DRG pokes his head up the ramp and says, peekaboo. And that scared the crap out of ByuN. And it isn't supposed to scare the crap out of ByuN. This is 6 roaches without any real backup as of now. Like, I don't think DRG actually was planning on doing this. I don't think DRG was planning on building the links. So they're coming in way too late. Is ByuN actually accidentally holding here because of that? Look at these links. They come so late. They hit so late. All of the roaches are dead already. And now these Hellions might just be able to... well, to die as well. So the Hellions also going to be going down. Is there any more units in the main? There's 3. There's a crap ton of links still. 3 Marines. 3 Marines, that's it. There's about 12 links left. This is going to cost him... oh, it should cost him like 4 or 5 more workers here, I think. Just control out of the Korean Zerg though. 4, 5, 5, 5. Good micro, ByuN. Good micro. 43 against 68 workers though. So we have 1-1 on the way for the potential roaches. As we see glial reconstitution being researched as well. Here for DRG. Takes the gold base and he's in a fantastic spot. Let's be real here. Let's be real. Production, sure, good for ByuN. But the supply, complete crap. Worker count, complete crap. Infrastructure, complete no. It's fine. Barracks 4 and 5 a little bit delayed. It's going to be difficult maybe to throw... no, he's plenty fine. Armory will also be fine. And he's taking the line base, which is good for ByuN, I think. Against roaches, it's nice to have the line rather than having the forward base. 5 more overlords on the way. So he's just making space right now, you know? This is like loosening your belt by 1 notch when you go to your favorite Chinese all-you-can-eat restaurant. Like that's right now what DRG is doing, you know? See, the belt is coming off at this point. Like 128 out of 170. Like he can eat the entire the entire bowl of rice. Well, that's the bowls of rice in a Chinese all-you-can-eat, but noodles or whatever, you get it, all you can eat. I don't actually know what you get it regular. Is there Chinese all you can eat outside of the Netherlands? I bet there is. I bet they're not as good though as they are in the Netherlands. I bet we're gonna have a couple of people debate what fake Chinese food is the best right now. And I'm completely open for that. I'm completely open for that. What I'm not open for though is the fact that DRG isn't moving yet. He needs to hit tight here. He needs to... he's pulling 3 overlords and he only needs 8 more supply. That's a bit of a mistake. He needs to start moving actually. He really does. He's gonna be hitting late. These Ravager morphs should have been done over here. Like 1-1 finish. This is gonna cost him 15 seconds. And 15 seconds when you're doing a timing, that is very long. It's gonna be longer. He's gonna kill the rocks. Oh, he thinks that ByuN has this forward base. So he's gonna kill the rocks. He's gonna pop his head and be like, oh, what the hell? There's nothing there. And now, I mean, he's still gonna keep going, I think. Now he needs to change his setup, kind of. He's gonna... what? This is a nasty engagement. And not the good type of nasty, as all of these tanks are just shooting down these roaches. Roaches are moving up the ramp right now, though. Do we have a couple of biles? Yep. 1 tank goes down, 2nd tank goes down. Okay-ish trade for DRG, but I think ByuN will barely be able to hold on with that depot wall, with that 2nd tank coming up on the high ground as well. The tank survives. This was 15 seconds, I'm telling you, would have been a massive deal. 15 seconds was such a big deal, plus the fact that DRG tried taking down these rocks first, added probably another 6-7 seconds. This was a 20-second delayed push, and he gained nothing, like maybe 4 roaches, while his opponent maybe got another tank. Got to get into position. Got like 10 more Marines out. Like 20 seconds is an entire Marine cycle. Marines take 18 seconds. I knew that, but I wanted to check just to be sure. Yeah, that's painful. That's very painful. Her DRG kind of giving away his free win. Now he's still in a sufficiently large lead, I would say. It is going to be difficult for him to lose this game. Not easy. It's not going to be easy to lose this game for him, alright? He has good creep spread, he has nice ecos, going up to 8 gas, should be getting an infestation pit most likely, and going into Hydra, then Hive, and then eventually Lurkers. ByuN, however, is going to try his best to get back into it. And ByuN is not bad at getting back into games. His control tends to be good. He already has a bunch of Marauders producing. He went for triple Tech Lab, double Reactor. That definitely helps against large roach numbers. And DRG, rather than saying, hey, I want to transition out after that first push kind of failed, says, no, I think I still have a timing here. And I'm pressing X to doubt. I don't believe that, actually. I don't think he has a timing anymore. Ground Carapace level 2 is about to finish up. 2-2 is also about to finish up for ByuN though. ByuN has such a sick tank position. Look at this. 5 tanks. Perfect position. Big depot wall over here, which means nothing can come through there. These depots, they look random, but they're there to block the roach movement. This is good control. This is not a fight that DRG can take. He keeps taking it. He keeps trying. You're getting hit in the face, my friend. You need to go to the hospital right now. This is not something you can do. DRG absolutely gets blasted here. And tries to throw a couple of balls to get a safe retreat. And these Marauders say, lol. Do we have concussive? Yeah, we do have concussive. And I think ByuN's actually just gonna go for it. He isn't even taking all of his tanks. He's taking a single tank. It's a crap ton of Marauders, a bunch of Marines. And we have another Remax here on full roaches. Big blunder there out of DRG, thinking that he could attack into that. After he saw, after that first fight, that there were still 2 tanks remaining. I mean, you know you're going to be fighting into 4 or 5 tanks onto a high ground position. How is that ever going to be a good idea? And I think the answer is, well, I don't think it's ever going to be a good idea. It's just a bad idea. 3 more racks on the way. No 3-3 yet though here for, oh my god. He's saving mules for a rainy day or what? Holy crap. There's like 6 mules remaining. Drops 1. No, those are scans. Just using them for scans instead. Now these tanks are dishing out a crap ton of damage. Dongregul once again decides to fight this. He kind of wants to defend the creep, of course. I understand that, but needs to wait for the infestors. I think he should have just tacked into faster infestation pit for that hive. For those lurkers and for those vipers, the 3-3 upgrades. DRG says something and ByuN laughs at it, and I think this means that it's most likely going to be it as ByuN is moving forward. GG gets called and ByuN puts himself on the board. Score 2-1 in favor of the Korean Zerg. Game number 3 here being played between ByuN in the top left and in the bottom right we'll see our good friend playing for Team Envy. It is going to be DRG, who is maybe opening up with a pool first again, by the way. We might see it one more time. Oh yes, it is. I had a feeling. Ooh. Pool first versus gas first. Okay. That's interesting. Gas first openers. Huh. Not very common. Not very common at all whatsoever in this matchup. What do you get with a gas first that you don't get with a barracks before gas? I hear you guys ask. A great question. I'm glad I got asked. So, you can get a Reaper and still get a factory that is so fast that you don't need to build a Marine before the reactor. Because you have plenty of gas. You can get the factory, then reactor, and you can boop, straight swap, and you go into Hellions. Real fast. Like maybe 15 seconds faster than with a barracks gas. So you got faster Hellions, faster... Reactor first. Now we're talking. This is going to be a hellbet push. And the reason I say that is because rather than building a Reaper, he builds a reactor. It's going to get out, I think, 4 Marines maybe. I think you get 4 Marines, maybe even 6 Marines. I'm not sure if you can afford that though. Nah, it's gonna be 4 Marines. You're gonna get 4 Marines out. You'll have about 36 seconds, almost 36 seconds. And then you build 2 more Marines up here while you're building cars afterwards. This actually looks like a really cool Hellbat push. Kind of old school. Kind of an old school Hellbat push. That I do have to admit. But a cool one nonetheless. First 2 Marines are being popped out here. And this time I actually think this isn't going to do too much. There is, what, 2 Marines out already, which means these 2 links, one of these links is going to fall. I think ByuN can just micro this. Can't he? Yeah, he can just micro this. Absolutely no issue here. Ooh, okay, he's gonna continue Marine production and then go into a depot. Now, I'm not aware of this build order, I have to admit. Or not into depot, into starport. So, more Marines, Hellions, starport. DRG isn't happy with this start. ByuN is flaming him a little bit. Single car? Tech lab? Is this going to be for bench? It is a really odd build order. I was so sure this was going to be a Hellbat push. Okay, it's a tank? But he doesn't have gas. Okay, the tech lab I just don't understand. What is this tech lab? Okay, he swaps. I have no clue what's going on here. I am going to be honest with you all. Is this going to be a 6 Marine drop into Raven? Or Banshee? This is the latest Banshee that will ever hit. Cloak. DRG is gonna sacrifice an over. He's just gonna scout it as well. I think it's going to be a delayed Hellbat push still. Yeah. Okay, armory goes down. Okay, it's kind of starting to make sense, but not really yet. This is like if you're watching one of these movies with a twist at the end, and you almost figure it out, and you realize you were completely wrong. Watch him just start like +1 vehicle weapons rather than going for a Hellbat push, playing mech or something like that. He's gonna pick up these Marines. This is just the oddest little build order. Just the oddest build order I've seen in such a long time. Now, imagine if with full vision you have no clue what's going on. Imagine how little DRG must understand here. He's looking at this and probably scratching his head with 2 hands at this moment. If you go to his APM, it probably says 0. Okay, 500. Close though. 4 cars are gonna get dropped into the main. Is he gonna morph these straight into Hellbats? No way. Yes way. Yes way. Of course, yes way. Doesn't get... Oh my god, the only dead spawn in the main base. He's just gonna straight up lose workers, honestly. And then he has... This is the weirdest push. This is such an odd push. I don't think I can stress enough how weird this looks. Like, this army doesn't even look like an army. This is like a... It's like a throwaway army. It's like pocket change, you know? Just... If you're getting robbed, you just start throwing your pocket change at the robber. That's kind of what's happening here. And then there's 4 Hellbats in the main base. The Hellion, the medevac dies. These queens are also dying though. Good transfuses, good control there out of DRG. Holds way better than he did on 2000 Atmosphere. But 2000 Atmosphere just had a better opener. Transfuse too late. Still had 1 transfuse. Second transfuse almost there as well. On that same queen. The hold is a lot better, but I still feel like this hold could have been even better. Had he microed the queens a little bit... well, he used transfuse more, basically. Not even micro, just used the extra transfuse they had. Would have saved 1 more queen. Now we see a quick spire, so similar setup in this game as we saw on 2000 Atmosphere. Can ByuN somehow get a different result though? Because if ByuN doesn't get a different result, he loses. Again, and then he's out of the game. What is this push? ByuN plays like an absolute madman. He just has random units on the map. Instead of pocket sand, but this guy uses just pocket change and starts throwing it everywhere. Look at this. There's almost no creep as well. He's been doing a fantastic job denying creep. Probably because DRG has been using all of his hands for scratching his head rather than really playing the game. These Banshee's actually going to be able to get a bunch of damage done. 7 workers. That is way more than we would expect out of 2 scouted Banshees. 9 workers. 10 workers. 11 workers. 12. Yes, at this point I'm just showing off the fact that I can count higher than 10. These queens are pushing back these marines into nature with 16 workers. What else? This is a game. No? You can just lose 17 workers casually. What are these? Why is no one here? What happened to these Banshees? You lost 20 workers. And it felt like the push was over. This is an absolutely ridiculous game so far. You have the reactors finishing up. Do we have stim? No combat being researched yet either, by the way. Sloppy play out of ByuN when it comes to that. Massively supply blocked. Holy crap. Starts 3 depots at the same time. Still massively supply blocked for the next 20-ish seconds or so. I'm not sure if it's going to matter. No combat. Combat is so late. Maybe DRG can hold this. 58 workers for DRG. DRG has nothing. DRG has 6 Mutalisks, is dealing damage with the Mutalisk, has 5 Banelings at home, but they don't even have speed. No speed. No centrifugal hooks. It is about to be done in 20 seconds, but I think at that point the game is already ended. All the Banelings have died. Another stim gets used. Yeah, the game. I mean, these mutas eventually get cleaned up by reinforcements. GG. This was the silliest game I've seen in my life. I watched a lot of StarCraft. Alright, we'll be heading into game number 5 of this very exciting series. Game 5 will be the decider match. Sick. Game number 5 here. We have something special coming out of ByuN. Sending out an SCV scout. Except this is not a scout. This is just an SCV. He's a builder. You can see that because he has this thing in his hand. The drill. The claw. Wait, where are you going, buddy? Oh, wait. Whee. He's gonna start building immediately, look at that. Starts 1 barracks. It's not just gonna be a single barracks though. Starts a second SCV, also a builder, not a scout. Starts a barracks. And it doesn't end there. We have a 3rd SCV. And he's gonna build another barracks. Could technically still be a 4 barracks, but it's very uncommon at the high level. A little bit more common at lower level. Yeah, 3 barracks. 3 barracks proxy. What is the correct response to the 3 barracks proxy? And the answer there is roaches from 1 base are a sufficient response very often. If you can kill the bunkers, then that's also fine. What is not correct is drone pooling. Now, it's very difficult for Zerg to figure out if it's 3 racks or 2 racks or 4 racks. Well, there's a big difference between 2 racks and 4 racks, but 2 and 3 racks is difficult for Zerg to figure out, and very often they will do a drone pool against the 3 racks. Do note though that these 3 barracks are really freaking far away. Now that does mean that DRG is not going to spot it, and as he doesn't spot it, well, he'll spot it now at least. What's his larva count? Single larva available, already has the gas. Stops mining the gas though. Keeps mining with a single duder. Ooh, pulls a lot of workers. Ideally, you'd be getting a roach warren immediately and just giving up the natural, because very often this just doesn't work from what I've heard. Of course, I'm not too familiar of playing in this situation myself. Look at the control here out of ByuN. Ooh, he's actually gonna lose one of the marines immediately. Good control out of DRG as well. Gets a second marine. Loses 3 workers though. And as this bunker is very close to going up, this might actually be a little bit dangerous. There's 1 SCV remaining. Marines are moving forward. SCV will get the bunker done. And now DRG is in trouble. Now DRG is in trouble. Needs to immediately start targeting down that SCV if he wants to have a chance of ever making this whole work. And there goes the SCV. There go the beautiful moves. Beautiful moves there with the drones. 4 workers have gone down. Now the follow-up here is going to be a very clear follow-up. It's going to be an SCV pool. It has to be an SCV pool. It is the only follow-up that I know that is viable. At this point, ByuN needs to be careful. You can't actually do this. You can't be actually doing this. No, you can't. It is simply not possible. 2 of these SCVs are going back home. He's gonna not go for an SCV pool. Instead, it's going to be a natural CC. No. CC on the high ground. Okay, continued marine production. 20 workers against 20. Spine is going up. Ooh, this is a lot of links now, or a lot of marines at this point. And these links are going down. Now he can perhaps snipe this queen, and I think... Hello, there's a transfuse? Had 50 energy, but wasn't quite in time. 8 more links. Nobody needs to... Ooh, these drones still going to lose the queen if he isn't careful. He is careful. Still could lose this queen at any moment, though. The moment these marines decide to run by and focus this queen once, it is dead. 5 more workers go down there, and this is not looking brilliant here for DRG. ByuN continuously building marines out of these 3 barracks and says, hey, I think I'm okay. 3rd CC? Possibility? Maybe. There's a lot of money in the bank at least. Looks like it's going to be a possibility. 3rd CC? Yep, this SCV is not doing anything. ByuN also realized that right now. ByuN's looking for that 3rd Banter, by the way. Quite sure if DRG can kill this just like that. Yeah, apparently he can. Good control on the links, good kiting with these queens as well. We'll take everything out. Still is down about 9 workers. Don't forget that 2nd base has now finished. Factory is on the way. We still have that marine production going on here, which means there's plenty of marines to defend any minor aggression, at least for now. I actually think that he can just start saturating his natural. Don't forget, the moment DRG starts building more links at this point, he's practically all in, and I just don't see a way for DRG to ever truly bust this. Like, banelings are not an option, there's just not enough money for him. This is gonna be good for ByuN. Look at that. 1. Oh my god, that target fire wasn't brilliant, but not a single marine will go down and every single ling will fall. I think DRG is a little bit dead, honestly. He is a little bit dead. 3rd base is later as well for DRG than it is for the Korean Terran player here, who is building a bunker just for safety. Of course, Roach is still a possibility, and perhaps ByuN isn't completely aware what the eco of his opponent is. However, we know that DRG doesn't really have an appetite currently for building more Roaches. DRG currently only has an appetite for staying alive and getting drones. He wants his eco to start booming again. Sadly, I think the only thing that will be booming is the Widow Mines as they explode all over his links and banelings. Going to have a booming time, that's for sure. Tech Lab and Viking first. And we see Hellions as well being researched here. Surprising decision. So you see a Roach Horn coming out of DRG. Wants to most likely go into the Cave Bob composition. So defensive Roaches into Lurkers as fast as possible. It can be a composition that is good at defending, but at this point I'm not even sure if that is going to be quite enough, honestly. He needs to do something with the complete lack of larva that he's most likely going to have. We're on 2 queens currently. A 4th hatchery is not in the works yet. Don't think it's going to be in the works anytime soon. That is car 3 and 4, I assume. Yep, 4 cars. So, I mean, the plus, or not even the +1 push, the stim push here, the stim move out with a couple of Hellbats might just be hard to hold already for ByuN. 6 Roaches. Now, these look like weirdly timed Roaches, but DRG is just that afraid that he thinks he needs these Roaches in order to not die. And honestly, I can't blame the fella, as his opponent's already on a decent marine count. You see what? 13 marines, we have 4 Hellions. It's going to be going up to 15, 16 marines as the 2 medevacs start popping. 16 marines with stim. That is it's an actual threat. Like, it's not something to scoff at. I don't like that he's moving across the map with this. I just don't think this is a viable play. I actually thought these were intended to be defensive Roaches. DRG actually wants to do a fake all-in with them. Might actually get caught completely off guard though as these Roaches move on the map. I think ByuN is just going to go catch him. No, he's not. Wants to now at this point. Does want to start catching him. double evil on the way. And I think this move was kind of intended to tell ByuN, hey buddy, stay at home. I have loads of units. You know, I have 5 roaches and I have more where that came from. But of course, in reality, DRG doesn't really have more where that came from, as he has nothing. He's on 65 workers and 6 roaches, 6 links, 3 queens. Negative creep threat. Doesn't even have his main and his natural connecting. He has like 2 active tumors on the entire map. One of these tumors is about to get taken out. Already got taken out. I missed that. These cars now are going to basically deny half the creep threat that DRG has built up in the past 8 minutes. And I think with this Tim, yeah, GG gets called and the reverse sweep is complete. ByuN is going to win the series 3-2 after some fantastically weird games. That's going to be it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I appreciate your time. And we'll see you all next time for a new video. Ciao, ciao.